It just seemed like to me you shouldn't have to go to the do the number one or the number two when with such a short flight and literally a big airport like Atlanta or Houston, like they got a trillion toilets right outside each terminal. I mean, literally. So, but nevertheless, somebody gonna get up. I don't care what flight you're on. I don't care how short it is. Just sit back and watch. Just sit toward the back of the plane. You will see the corporate. You will see them. They gonna get up as soon as the plane take the seatbelt, but the seatbelt light go off. They gonna get up. They gonna get up and have to go to. Excuse me. Bumping all up against you and stuff, and they're gonna go to the bathroom. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen, folks. Hey, how you doing? It's me. I'm back. It's your friend, your family, your Conrad, your good old pal, cousin Corey. Recently, I took my first flight in a long time. I recently took a flight from right here in Houston, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia recently. It was my first time flying since the year 1995. That's like we're talking almost 30 years, folks. That was a long time ago. And there was no such thing. There was no TSA check and all those and that type of stuff going on back in 1995. So I just thought that it was just like me flying for the first time. It really was my first time flying by myself. So I just thought it'd be a good idea for me to come up with some flying for the first time tips while it's fresh on my mind. And I just figured that I can help some of you who might be flying for the first time, or you might not have flown in a few decades like myself. So I just said, let me just give a few basic tips that I learned from my experience. And so like I said, it was my first time flying, and overall it was a great experience, but I learned a lot. You know, kind of makes me think about time keep on slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle into the sea. Fly, 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 let my spirit carry me. I wanna fly, 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 fly into the future. Okay, I got that out of my system. Bear with me. First things first, I guess, is picking an airline. That's your first step right there. And I know if you haven't flown in a long time, this can become a bit of maybe a tedious or maybe a bit of a burden that you might have trying to pick out an airline. And I'ma just tell you, you can see over there. You can see I got the 7 biggest US airlines behind me right here. Yeah, I got the 7 biggest airlines. So we got American, Delta. It says 7 biggest US airlines. Yeah. American. So when it say biggest, yeah. This is from 2018. You got American, Delta, Southwest, United, Alaska, JetBlue, Spirit. Now, from what I've heard, I think JetBlue is supposed to be like the top notch. And Alaska too, I think. Now, I end up going, and Spirit is, I think, one of the cheapest. You got Spirit, and then you got Frontier. They're like the cheapest. And I think Southwest is known for their customer service. I end up flying with Delta. Cause I think all this kind of stuff you have to take in consideration. You know, like you really got to take in consideration like where you're going, how long is the flight. I mean, my flight from Houston to Atlanta is scheduled to be just like a less than a 2-hour flight. It was like what, an hour 40, an hour 40. And actually, it wasn't even that long, but I'll talk about that later. But I would have got on Spirit. But I ended up just going with Delta personally for me because what they were charging, like I think Spirit is the cheapest. And it's a short flight, so you know you probably say I was thinking why not go with Spirit? It's the cheapest, and it's a short flight, so I want to be uncomfortable for like an hour, whatever. But here's the thing: Spirit charges. You get to bring one personal item, but Spirit charges you for your carry-on. They charge you about $50 for a carry-on. So the price, the difference it costs for me to go on Delta. It was just, you know, I was gonna come close to paying the price for. You get through paying for your carry-on bag. I was paying for a Delta flight. So Spirit, I'll say in that situation, if you only gonna bring one personal item, and I'm gonna show you what a personal item, the dimensions of a personal item bag. If you're just flying, you don't have no luggage or anything like that, you could save money, and it's a short flight. I would say save money and go with something like Frontier or Spirit. You know, I would say do that. But if you got a carry-on, I wouldn't. I mean, you got to pay for, you know, by the time you get through paying for your carry-on and everything, paying that carry-on fee, you might as well go with Delta or one of the other airlines. 10 best airlines. And you can do your research on the 10 best airlines. This is an article I just have in front of me, you know, what they have ranked, you know, 10 best airlines. And be mindful, all these different articles and stuff, they base it on different circumstances. So you have different articles saying different things on what they base their service on. So really you just kind of go for your own gut feeling and what you feel most comfortable with when it comes to airlines. I think overall that's what it is. Whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever goes in line with your budget. And I think that's just a good way to sum it up. These jets are fast. Okay, like I guess I kind of knew that jets were fast, but it kind of just flying on one, it kind of reiterated like how fast they are. I mean, literally, like the flight I was on, I flew out from out of Houston. I think it was scheduled for an hour and 40 minutes. In actuality, the flight was it was scheduled for maybe an hour and 40 or maybe 2 hours, but in actuality, the flight was like an hour and 30 minutes. And to be honest, it really was an hour. It was coming from Houston to Atlanta. It was about an hour. It looked like to me they spent about 30 minutes just flying over the city of Atlanta, waiting. I guess they were waiting for mission control to not mission control. I'm thinking about space. Like, we didn't go to the moon. We're not astronauts, so it wasn't mission control. It was the flight tower or the traffic control or whatever you call it. I think they were just waiting on traffic control to tell them when it was their turn to hit, to land the plane. So literally for 30 minutes, we just was hovering around the city, and kind of when we got close to Atlanta, they just kind of glided in, so it really was like an hour, man. And I think driving from Houston to Atlanta, that's like 12 hours drive probably. I'm just estimating. I didn't look it up on the Google machine or nothing, but I'm thinking that's about a 12-hour drive. So that flight was like about an hour, man. A little over an hour maybe, but but respectfully about an hour and 30 minutes. So those jets are fast. So keep that in mind. If you got a short flight and let's say the flight like 2 hours, you probably won't even be on there. If everything is running schedule, if everything is on schedule, you're not gonna be on there for no 2 hours. It's gonna be less. You might be 30 minutes less. And this is for all my vertically elite people out there. You know, the vertically challenged, don't worry about this. But if you 6 feet tall, 6 feet or taller, listen up, folks. Listen up, you tall people. Us tall people, cause I'm like 6 foot. I'm 6'2". I've been told I'm 6'3", but I think I'm around 6'2". I think I'm 6'2 and a half. Actually, I'm not 6'3". I'm 6'2 and a half. You round it off. Maybe I could say 6'3". But nevertheless, I'll say this: if it's a short flight, like I was on, I guess it don't matter. You can just get in the regular, regular seating. I guess that's called coach or whatever. You can get the regular seating. But, if your legs like to fall asleep like mine do or whatever, I would say one thing you might could do is maybe you could try to get a seat next to the aisle. But, then you can stretch your leg out a little bit, but the stewardess, they're gonna be walking back and forth so much, and then you might have somebody, even though you're on a short flight, like the lady on my flight, as soon as the plane takes off, she got to get up and go use the bathroom. But I mean, I don't know, maybe the lady had an emergency or nothing, but it just seemed like to me you shouldn't have to go to do the number one or the number two when with such a short flight. And literally a big airport like Atlanta or Houston, like they got a trillion toilets right outside each terminal. I mean, literally. So, but nevertheless, somebody gonna get up. I don't care what flight you're on. I don't care how short it is. Just sit back and watch. Just sit toward the back of the plane. You will see the corporate. You will see them. They gonna get up as soon as the plane take the seatbelt, but the seatbelt light go off. They gonna get up. They gonna get up and have to go to, excuse me, bumping all up against you and stuff. And they're gonna go to the bathroom. I'm telling you. It's gonna happen, folks.